Welcome back to the Middle-Aged Minecrafter. It's time for Chapter 5 of the most pointlessly impressive Minecraft channel in all of YouTube. And we are going to continue our tour of the Green Line as we make our way over to Holland from the Yellow Point Junction. And here we go. There needs to be a launch cable back there, or a launch power rail. That's what I'm trying to say. Isn't this a nifty ice biome? We've run into some ice villages. They get lots of snow off to the south and west of all places. We did continue to play with Holland a little bit for a while after building the Great Railway. I mean, why not? That was the point. But Portishead being so close and our desire to get really mad quantities of high-ranking librarians and stonemasons, very convenient to home. That's only a 6-minute minecart ride. Whereas getting all the way down to Holland over and over took a lot more. But for whatever reason, we never found any villages between Holland, way down here at 2200 South, because we're heading back towards being aligned with home now. So home is roughly negative 500 or so. We're coming up on Holland right now, though. So this is still considerably west of our home base. Is the brake set? Nope. Alright, so welcome to Holland. We named it that because of all the flowers that were around here. And at least to start off with for a while, the names of things I've come up with are fairly Eurocentric. They get more diverse and silly and whatnot later, but everything seemed kind of North American, Eurocentric around here, so that's just where we kind of went with the names. Notice there's no secret mine underneath this place. Anyways, there's standard toolkit. This one's outfitted pretty well. It's supposed to be vegetables here and meats here and something there. This one is like a ship out box. I collect things I want to pack up and take with me. Other various oh, that door seems to work as well. So that's at least 3 of them. Very nice. Okay, so you can see this one was quite a mess with ridiculous overhang drop-offs. I really had to landscape the daylights out of this to make it to where the villagers wouldn't fall and hurt themselves. Hey, a bee. Nice. Oh, he's just dripping with honey. Do I have shears? I do. I have to get this honey, folks. Or the honeycomb. Should be a campfire under it, but diggity. How much should I get? 2? That's it? Oh wow. Anything in here? Oh, looks like it. Oh, a bunch of bees came out. Are they mad at me? No honeycomb? Huh. Oh, okay, I got a couple. Alright. You can see we have primitive farming and sheep herding stuff. I told you there was a giant glowing pumpkin H in the sky. Sheep station. Huh. So, yes, this has all been formatted and leveled out and landscaped. It was quite a jumble. How many nitwits live here? Nobody has jobs here? Look at all the unemployed people. There's some people. Nobody has names here. This town's not nearly as far along. Feathers are us. I guess this is where the Fletcher lives, even though you're not a Fletcher. So yeah, look, we worked on this for a while. We were trying to model it after Portishead. You got Lakefront Drive and some nice steps. Trying to eliminate all the dangerous sharp corners. These houses on stilts that I made. What is under there? There's a farmer down there? Oh, you poor punk. Dude, that's not cool. Hello, game. Thank you. Wait, oh, he's a fisherman. Whatever. It's no good, dude. There. Let's see. One more there. There, now you should be able to get out. I don't care what you do now. You're no longer stuck. Why was that guy stuck under there? That was bizarre. I don't do things like that to my villagers. Look at this lovely beach I built. How nice is that? Wow. Nice flower hill. Got a young child. Nice to know that the village is growing. Nice little dock here. Yeah, this was atrocious. The way these... I mean, look, they're built at drastically different levels. This isn't perfectly polished, but it's a lot better than it was. There goes our green line off onto Devonshire, which is where we shall go next. Just gotta run back up to our train station. Lakefront Drive, huh? The street signage. Now you can make hanging signs. I'm gonna do that over my interstates. Coal and what fun stuff. Alright. Bavaria, 3364. So Devonshire, Frankfurt, and Bavaria. Once we get to Frankfurt, I start to deviate from my consistent in the sky level 86, 85 rail line that I have going on here, because the reason, for building it so level and straight is the conservation of resources. Well, I started getting kind of flippant with the resources after a while, after making all that money at Essex probably, that I decided to have more fun with it. It was not as landmark necessary to have it super visible in the sky necessarily, and I just took the sacrifice for low-level flying fun. So coming up about here, we should be directly in line with the home base, about exactly 2100 blocks that way. Will be the middle of it. There's a sneaky gorge in there. Don't know how bad it is, but it's obviously some kind of gorge, and it could be super nasty. It's cool to just be able to fly by and see the different terrains. The ones I spawned by, didn't spawn by anything like this. I see in its attempts to render, it seems to sometimes show what's deep underground. And it's so far away you can't really make out what it is, but the thing is even if it gave away where a big fancy lava pit mine type of thing was, you can dig just about anywhere long enough and find it. By the time you would take you to find that, you just easily find something else by accident. Whoa, no brakes. Frankfurt and Grand Bavaria Station, only $21.97 away after however long that ride was. Standard train station, doesn't have its welcome to sign yet. This store seems to work. That's cool. I'm happy about that. I don't know where the one that wouldn't work was coming into. Anyways, we'll take a quick tour around this town. It's not as developed as Holland is, but the very beginnings of polished granite stone roadway beginning to emerge. A cat with no name, and some of the villagers' original whatnots. There's no sign by the bell marking. It got to a point, and you will discover this in the future, whenever I would find a town while running across vast lengths of land to woodland mansions and back and things like that, I would put a wooden sign that had the date I discovered it on. That way I would know if I'd been there before, was the idea. But that was not in practice yet by the time we had made these towns. Look, there's a giant D in the sky made out of glowing pumpkins. I believe that is the last example. Only Devonshire and Holland have giant glowing pumpkin signs. And, of course, Portishead is the giant stone P over the church. That's pretty much it. Just those three have giant letters in the sky indicating what their town name was. Was going to continue with that, but again, an idea kind of superseded by the railway. The railway always acts as a tether. From one place to another. Come on. Go. There we are. Now we just have to hit the power rail. And we're on our way to Frankfurt. Definitely heading north again, as we are 365 west of the prime meridian, shall we say. Another thing I noticed is riding these rails, which, again, this rail line's a couple years old, probably. More artifacts have shown up. There's one rail line that I built, and then when I went down it one day, and like right off of it, there on the ground, like maybe there, is a whole pirate ship. And I wouldn't have missed a pirate ship, but suddenly, all of a sudden, there it was, as well as those netherrack, obsidian, I don't know what you call them, There's usually a gold block and some magma blocks, maybe some lava, a chest. I'll point it out when I see one. I think there's one coming up. And they just seem to be popping up really generously. Don't think I've pillaged all of them yet. Priority is just laying out the geographical spec, making everything accessible and easy, and just sort of designating it, giving it a name, and considering going back to it later. Some really cool scenery. There's one of those things, and look, the gold block is still on it. Whatever those things are. Okay, now we start getting crazy with the leveling. Oh well, that's neat. Obviously we've stopped. There we go. Now everything is loading. Have not been through here in a while. We've gone ahead and taken the rail line down to 79 or 80, depending on if you're sitting or standing on it. And obviously the purpose of that was so I could sail it right through this tower, which serves as a stairwell basically to the ground. If I wanted to, I could just put a break in it. Now there's a big line across there. It is the 398, and that is a rail line that goes a couple thousand blocks that way. And if you go that way, it takes you up to Grand Bavaria Station, which is where we're ultimately going to go. But we're going to go the long way. That line directly goes to Grand Bavaria Station up there. But this one takes a little scenic detour so that it can include this little village of Frankfurt, which has an unfinished train station. And after Frankfurt is when, see, we lowered it, but we're still going in a straight line. I get a bit roller coaster-ish with the rail line after Frankfurt. Actually, it looks like that train station is somewhat finished. This is the one where I couldn't get the door to work. Well, the roof isn't finished. I ran out of pink wool, and the chests aren't all in it. Alright, so yes, here's a crazy town, but it's got a lot of people in it. Very, very black forest. That's why we gave it a German name of Frankfurt. But now we are hastily moving on our way to Grand Bavaria Station, which we should be able to see in a distance for a while, because, well, it's pretty grand. It's really big. Spare no expense on the power rail to make the ride more interesting. Well, it looks like the 398 up there. And there it is, the Grand Bavaria Station. Extremely uninspired skyscraper, but I don't care, because I had smooth stone to burn. I still have smooth stone to burn. You've seen it? You can, come on, you have to understand why. Oh goodness, that was fun. Alright, so what happened? Now, I want to explain this because I'm proud of my clever bit of engineering. As you can see, we just came up from the rail line, and it goes up here above our heads, and it comes out here, and it just throws you straight onto this power rail and will continue launching you back home. Here is the brake for the station, which is open so that the line is continuous. If you want to go the green line the reverse way, you have to get on this little section of track, and then you ride down this alternate path, which winds down there and throws you onto the rail straight, where from the other direction it would curve. And that's how I completed that loop, complete with signs that don't yet have numbers because they still have to be calculated. Yet, nevertheless, there are the towns in order that the line services. And these are silly messages that I put there. Okay, and then over here, we have a nice northern branch. This is different than the black line, of course, but this does go north. You can see there's a town I called Anvolania, only 965 blocks away, and the Isle of Man, which we mentioned previously in the North Dock swimming route episode adventure. Well, here's a rail line, goes all the way there, and the rail line continues to a place I call North Terracotta. I found 2 major terracotta zones or mesa biomes. I think there's another name for them too, I'm not 100%. I just call mine North Terracotta and South Terracotta. I stumbled on South Terracotta while wandering south, lost in the game for 2 days back in the day, and it was cool and impressive. But then on other adventures, we discovered the North Terracotta, which is like 4 times the size of the South one. That's also where we found our first abandoned mine. So anyways, that's a pretty cool adventure that we could certainly go on at some point, but I don't think at this time in this episode. I've never really gotten this far in thinking ahead about where this series was going, so I'm actually at a personal impasse live during this recording. So in the meantime, let me talk about Bavaria. This was the first, this might have been the first inhabited town that we visited, because I think we came back here running, of course, the hard way. But we came back here to start trading with villagers. It was either this or the Isle of Man. This is how Holland was. You see how these, you've got these huge cliffs. You got a house just built randomly on the most chopped up, untextured landscaping. This is how we first started doing our getting down from the rail line for this place. Built a stairwell before I came up with the idea of the, sectioned down landing plateau for everything. This place doesn't have that or need that, because it kind of takes this idea and makes it more grandiose. Lovely glass floor, you can see what's down there. Operational chest supplies and your crafting table, and a nice rail that goes down to it. So this is basically an elevator that you can take. You want to go down and visit the people of Bavaria from the lofty train station. You just take this rail, and there you go. And if you like, you can also take the rail up for another sky view like that tower in the desert. Once again, ostentatious expenditure of money and resources just to build something pretty. Ooh, really high up through the red stained glass floor. My ceiling of many torches. And again, you can see as far as the game will render. on a cloudy day. It's high enough that I've seen clouds in this building. And there's the 398 going way off in the distance. This rail continues on to about 2800, and then it goes left for a bit, and then it goes a few hundred blocks even further south than that on another line, which was the first sky walkway that I stubbornly built all the way down to 5,000. The rail does not go all the way down there yet, and there's a big fat loop that comes around again too. I have re-explored it once since I built it, and it took a long time, and it was interesting. And what's kind of cool about building a rail for everything is it gives you time to immerse yourself in the environment at a slow, definite pace. It'll be kind of interesting for me to see again what stuff I left there and reimagine the experience, I guess, a little bit, because obviously none of that was ever recorded. Wouldn't that be something if I actually had the foresight to record everything from the beginning? Let's see. I guess I have some options here. If we take this, we end up back home. And we end up back home, then what are we going to do? Well, we're supposed to be touring everything. And I guess it might be forever and a day before we get to tour back up here again. We better go ahead and do this now. Or, better yet, in the next chapter. Aha! The Art of the Cliffhanger. Now, I imagine the next episode is going to be readily available to you, and you can watch immediately, so it's not a very effective cliffhanger. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and prepare to launch off into the northern yonder, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we're going to break this one there. Until then,